Well, starting the session right now, uh, starting the day with a quote, "Technology is the best when it brings people together," by Matt Mullenweg, a social media entrepreneur. Well, a very good morning and a warm welcome to all the participants who have joined with us today on the fifth day of the Faculty Development Program on Innovation in Recent Trends and Research Applications on Computing and Informatics, SuSet 2023. The speaker whom we have with us today is Dr. Abhishek Das, who will be delivering his lecture on transforming healthcare with IoMT. Dr. Das is currently working as an associate professor and former head of department Computer Science and Engineering at Alia University, Kolkata. His research interest includes medical image processing, machine learning, data science, and IoT. He has received a postdoctoral research position from University of West Scotland, UK, by a fellowship received from the European Commission. He is also the guest editor of Microsystem Technologies, Springer, amongst many others. He has several publications in international and national journals and peer-reviewed conferences, and has also filed 3 patents in his name as co-inventor at India Patent Office, Government of India. He is a fellow of IETE, NBSP, registered under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. He is a fellow of South Asian Chamber of Scientific Research and Development, certified by MSME, Government of India, and many others. Sir, we are happy that you have joined with us today, and thank you so much for accepting our request for delivering the lecture. You may now continue. The platform is all yours, but before that, there is an announcement. The participants, please switch off your video and mute yourselves. And if you find there is any query, then you may raise your hand and ask the question in the chat box. Sir, you may now continue.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible? Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, good morning. So I've been invited to deliver this talk for the FDP at SuSet 2023. And first of all, I would like to thank the organizers. And today's topic will be on transforming healthcare with the Internet of Medical Things. Is the screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, the screen is visible.
Okay. So before I start on,
yes, sir,
first of all, yeah. So first of all, I would like to discuss on IoT, what exactly it is. I understand you already had a lecture on IoT yesterday by one of my colleagues we met at IIT Kharagpur, Suchishmita Chinara madam. So I'll just tell what exactly Internet of Things is, and then we'll move on to what exactly IoMT is, and so on. So first of all, going back to the slide, our next, yeah. So this will be the contents I will be covering. And so what exactly is the Internet of Things? So this is a very common phenomenon in the future. Say an individual is rushing to work and you hear the fridge is talking, don't forget to buy the milk. So you are leaving the home. So that means the user is sensing something that you are leaving the home. And there's no milk in the fridge. So that is also, and the object is being sensed by the fridge that there is no milk in the milk pot. So this, using this two information, a decision is being made, which is the process. And finally, the decision is being informed to the user, that is, it is being communicated. So when you are leaving the home, that is you are the sense the user is being sensed. So what type of sensor can be used? Distinguish between the parent and child. So if your child or children, they are leaving the home, they won't be getting the message. So the sensor will be detecting whether it is a parent, whether you or your spouse is leaving the house. Now, they will also identify reason for leaving home. Okay, say you are moving for some emergent work. So you don't want your fridge to talk that you need groceries, you need milk and other things. But they will try to analyze, like you are going to your regular office or you are going to somewhere out, then you will have the message conveyed to you. And other things are identify other contexts like store hours. You don't want that you are leaving home at 11 o'clock in the night to watch a movie and then you get a message that, bring milk, bring cucumber, bring bread. You don't want that because the stores are closed. So there is no milk in the fridge, that is sensing the object and using the information to make a decision process, informing user of the decision, that is notified. So we can see that you are leaving the home, we are that is the sensing the user, and then there is no milk in fridge, that is sensing the object. So we have already discussed that this kind of questions might be arising. What type of sensor will we be needing? Whether the milk is needed, whether it's an emergency thing, or no milk, or little milk. Then there will be also a prediction.
How does my
Yeah. So using this information to make a decision, so that will be the process. Inform the user of the decision, that will be notified. So when you are using this information to make a decision process, that is the process. So where will be the processor be? And what are the rules? How do we fix up the rules? Rules are very important. Like we decided on whether there is no milk or whether there is very little milk, and you are predicting that you need more milk. So there should be some rules and fixed rules. I would request to mute. There is some noise going on. Fixed rules versus dynamic rules. That is the learning method. So we are all aware of machine learning and different artificial intelligence. So obviously we need some supervised learning for this kind of things. And inform user of the decision, that is to notify. So inform user of decision, that is to notify. So there might be some questions like how to inform the user of the decision. Like the fridge is talking and telling you, or it might send you a SMS or a WhatsApp or some kind of email. It can be when will be the appropriate time. See, you're busy in a meeting, you don't want your phone to ring and say that you need to bring home groceries at home because it is getting empty in the fridge. And the other question is about privacy. So privacy is one of the biggest factors. The Western Europe as well as US, they are very much concerned with the privacy, and now even India is having some strict privacy laws. Subtleness. So how subtle it can be, and whether the information is overflow. You don't want the information to getting overflow. So this is basically what we usually have on Internet of Things. In physical object, that is the thing. Then someone is not mute. Can you please mute yourself? Jagdish Bhattacharya, please.
All the participants are requested to mute your self. Jagdish Bhattacharya, please mute yourself.
Mr. Bhattacharya, please mute yourself.
মানে ওই টপিক গুলো ওরকম দেবো CA1 CSA
Mr. Bhattacharya, could you please mute
না
yourself?
এমনি দিই মানে আননোয়িংলি দিই এবার যে
So, thank you, participants. So, getting back to the topic. So, we have the physical object, that is the thing for where exactly this term Internet of Things come. And then we have the controller that is acting as the brain. So, we also have the sensors, the actuators, and obviously the network or the Internet. So, hence, we get the name acronym as Internet of Things or IoT. So here we can see how the Internet of Things ecosystem work. So basically we have the different IoT devices. They transfer the data with the gateway. The gateway is connected to the internet network, and the internet network again can be remotely controlled through an analysis as well as command RFI, as well as you have the analytics or the data storage where that internet network can be also connected. So basically we have the IoT ecosystem here. And the connection between the gateway and the IoT devices is also known as business intelligence. Some related areas or terminology we are quite accustomed. The embedded systems, they are not necessarily connected. Sensor networks, they are the collection of sensor devices connected through wireless channels. Cyber physical systems, that is, they focus on interaction between physical and cyber systems. And then real-time systems that focus on the time constraints, and the pervasive or the ubiquitous computing that is focusing on anytime, anywhere. So that means ubiquitous or the pervasive computing. So this kind of related terminologies we are quite aware. Then some related areas, that is machine to machine communications. We are having the Internet of Everything, that is the Cisco systems, and the Skynet. As far as you remember the Terminator movie, if you remember that, and they had this Skynet which comprised of all the machines communicating with each other. So as you know, historically, this British entrepreneur, Kevin Ashton, while working at the MIT Auto ID Labs, coined the term Internet of Things, that is IoT. It is referred to and envisioning a future global network of objects connected specifically by radio frequency identification, RFID. It's complete automation of the data collection. And the first article about IoT in 2004 was from MIT, and it was called Internet Zero. So this is some little bit history. Now, considering the Internet of Things vision and growth. So from 2014 to 2021, this graph is there. And here it is shown how the connected devices are increasing in billions, and how the cellular IoT is getting more majority in that compared to non-cellular IoT, PC, laptop, tablet, mobile phones, as well as fixed phones. So you can see that gradually there is a complete outgrowth of cellular IoT. Considering the vision and growth of IoT, this was in 2003, the world population was 6.3 billion. And in 2020, it is 7.6 billion. Connected devices were there only 500 million. Now it has crossed 50 billion. And so you can see even the connected devices per person, which was 0.08 at that time, now is above 7. So this is how things are going and growing. So this is a slide from pre-internet where human to human we had that fixed telephony. People used to pick up the phone and call, dial the numbers. So this kind of SMS. So these were pre-internet times. Then after internet of content, that is the World Wide Web, we had the email, information, entertainment, which most of us have seen earlier. And plus, including the smart networks, it comes to Internet of Services, that is Web 2.0, where we had the e-commerce, different Amazon, Flipkart, and others started, and e-productivity. And along with social media came the Internet of People, where Skype, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all these kind of things have come. And finally, with that came the machine to machine, that is the Internet of Things, where the smart devices, objects, and data have been used for identification, tracking, monitoring, metering, automation, actuation, and payment. So finally, this smart is also added up as data and ambient context. Another snapshot of the rapid growth of Internet of Things. So almost 16 billion of them will be IoT devices. That is the prediction. There are forecast to be 28 billion connected devices worldwide by 2021. It's a little old data. And IoT devices will overtake mobile phones as the largest category of connected devices in 2018, which is happening. So this is the gradual growth, and it has been very much rapid for the IoT. This is another service sector and applications where we find that IoT has a huge impact in case of buildings, smart buildings, then energy for the supply, demand, or oil, gas, consumer and homes, healthcare and lifestyle. So IoMT will be a part of this. Then we have the industrial IoT, the transportation for all the vehicles and the trans systems. And for the retail, we have the hospitality, specialty stores, as well as the security, public safety. We have the surveillance, tracking, and IT and networks, obviously, which includes the public and enterprise. So we have this huge, the service sectors, as well as the application groups, as well as the devices which are being connected through IoT. This is a small Cisco commercial. Just
exciting, maybe as well. The kids to be today. Make the project. And watch the modest time. This is tomorrow's is here.
so that was a prediction of Cisco, and that is already happening. And see how IoT is being augmented for the existing things. Remember, we used to have watches, analog watches, and then it turned into digital. And after that, almost everyone is wearing a smartwatch nowadays, which monitors your heartbeat, your heart rate, how many kilometers or steps you're taking. So everyone, even I am wearing a smartwatch. So I'm also a cyclist and a marathon runner. So a smartwatch is very much utilized by me, for every time. It is monitoring how much am I sleeping and what am I doing all the time. Even this kind of bracelet, this kind of also now we have seen that people are using Fitbit kind of wearables where they monitor your ECG also. And this kind of socket plugs, they are now even being controlled by your mobile through IoT. And this spectacles which you wear, they are also now getting smart. Like they will have, you can watch there all your surroundings, or you can watch a movie there. So all these kind of things are getting augmented. So augmenting life with the new things, smart city, smart car, smart me, that is healthcare, fitness, wellness. So we see this kind of a city, smart city, where we have the smart buildings, the homes are smart, waste management is smart, the society is smart, smart care. Like if you are having a problem, ambulances are, will be at the tips of your fingertips. Even we have the smart mobility, smart IT communications, smart education, smart energy, and so on. This was a US Department of Telecommunication statistics, which had over 5.6 million crashes and about 31,000 fatalities and many injuries. And this was basically in the roadways. So in the transport, there were many injuries, and there was uh, almost a huge economic loss in terms of $1 trillion US. And obviously the carbon dioxide emissions, and what US has started after using, you have heard about Tesla and the automated cars, and now what they are trying to do is they are trying for self-driving cars. And what they are doing is uh, they are having signals from the GPS, that is the global positioning system, along with the satellites. They are getting combined, and with readings from the tachometers, altimeters, and the gyroscopes, they provide the accurate positioning along with the GPS. And the cars also have a lidar, that is a light detection and ranging. This sensors bounces the pulses of light of the surroundings, and then they are analyzed to identify the lane markings as well as the edge of the roads. Then there are also video cameras which detects the traffic lights, read the road signs, or keep tracks of the position of the other vehicles. We also have ultrasonic sensors to measure the position of the object very close to the vehicle, such as curbs. When you're parking or something, you need those kind of sensors. And they also have the radar sensors that monitor the position of other vehicles which are nearby. And they also, like when you are on the highway, they will be used for adaptive cruise control systems. The information from all these sensors is then analyzed by a central computer that manipulates the steering, accelerator, brakes. And obviously the rules of the road must be understood by this software. So this is how a self-driving car works. And you can see, like when the self-driving car is on the road and you have a pedestrian, so they are getting signals because all are connected through IoT. So everyone is being able to identify each other. The car is being able to see the signal also. That is also being fed into the system. If any other distant cars are there coming in the way, that is also being observed. So this is the state of self-driving car. The connected factory in action. So basically we have all the four things, that is the innovation, the agility, the risk, and the efficiency. So we can see how the innovation is being connected with the efficiency as well as the risk, like which consists of the secure physical and cyber assets, as well as maximizing the uptime. So obviously it needs to be agile, that is connected, and it needs to be collaborated externally, as well as the infrastructure needs to be expandable. So efficiency is obviously very much a concern, because you need to optimize the assets, and this is how a connected factory in action usually works. So it can be a manufacturing industry. So everything is being connected through IoT, and in real time, this kind of industrial IoT works. So new product and service introductions, they are much faster, obviously increasing the production and quality uptime, mitigating unplanned downtime, protecting from cyber threats, as well as worker productivity and safety. You see, because in that figure, there was a limited number of people who are actually in the manufacturing process. They are mostly in their control rooms. Mostly it is done by robots who are being controlled through IoT. So some example of a smart and connected buildings, energy management, then lighting, safety, HVAC systems, the AC and all that, building automation, then smart spaces. So you have this kind of a smart building where some example is given, where 5 a.m. where manager arrives for a global call, 10 a.m. it is meeting in the conference room. So before manager arrives, the sensor detects the car and exterior lights, they start on. Security system grants access, lights are on. HVAC system, that is the AC is on, it adjusts the airflow and temperature. So this kind of things are happening in our everyday day life, considering the boon of IoT. This is a smart creature, a connected cow. It was proposed by Connectera, a Dutch company. They make like Fitbit style necklaces that monitors a cow's movement and feeding habits. Netherlands, they are very much into milk production, into dairy, into chocolates and other dairy products. So obviously, the scientists there, they propose this kind of thing where the necklace will sense whether there is any health problem of the cow, or whether the cow is in too much of heat. And obviously they also have a connected pedometer. It will see whether the cow is walking or not. Then the tail movement, so if there is a labor contraction or something, it will be considered with the tail movement, and some SMS will be going to the farmer. So this kind of thing. Even smart cows, we are having a connected cow through IoT. This is a proposal by North Carolina State University in an IoT-enabled roach. So roach, as you know, cockroach. So this was also IoT-enabled. So you can see the size of $1, a $0.25, and the size of the IoT device that has been implanted on the cockroach. Fight poverty. Try to get more shoppers from Warden Road to Dharavi in Mumbai. In Mumbai, how the shoes, how you can bring customers to the shops, that is also being monitored by IoT. Smart grid. This is a vision of the future, and a network of integrated microgrids that can monitor and heal itself. They have the smart appliances. It can shut off in response to the frequency fluctuations. The demand management, it can be used to shift to off-peak times to save money. They have the processors, sensors, storages, generators, wind farms. So everything is on the smart grid. We have the smart homes. Obviously, locks, it will have only access right to the owners and their family members. So unauthorized person or burglars, they cannot come. If they come, there will be alarms. The police, nearby police station will be notified. So now almost you can have this kind of setup with CCTV and other things also. Like here in smart home, the thermostat, the lighting, appliances, drainage, all this kind of are all linked in the smart home. In smart lighting, most of you have seen that in Amazon we have the Alexa and other things. This kind of Philips Hue they have. They have kind of a colored lights, and they can be activated by the smartphone or even over Zigbee wireless. And they can also serve as alarm clock and kind of things. So Philips actually never anticipated the demand, and it got sold out in 3 months at Apple stores. So this was so much demand, the smart lighting things. In home, automatic hockey, Gold Light, Budweiser, they have some in-home automation where Wi-Fi is connected. Smart cork, they actually, the wine industry in France, Australia, a lot of countries, whoever produces wines, and storing of wines is a big issue because wines can, deteriorate, ferment very easily, and you want, to store them for long times. So this kind of smart cork, they allow wine producers and consumers to have the greatest assurance of both the quality. How? They will have all the information about the bottling date, the grape type, the alcohol percentage, and more. They and there are more smart things like smart bathroom cabinet for medicine. Like you are going to take a shower, and you are being said, your cabinet will say that you need to take this medicine at this time. So you go there, and you are being informed about taking your medicine, so you don't forget it. Then you have the smart refrigerator. We started with that. Smart toilets, smart history in museums. Most of the digital museums you see, they have the smart history. I recently visited the Nehru, now it is called Pradhan Mantri Museum, that's in New Delhi. And all the rooms, all the artifacts, they were all smart. So I took my mobile phone, they had this app, and whichever room I went, and I clicked on that item number, all the history was on my ears. Everything was as if I was right there in the 19th century. So this kind of things are happening now. And smart health, we'll go more into that in IoMT. We have sensors in running shoes also, where the power and other things are being monitored, whether you need to replace the shoes. Smart buying beacons, are there smart shirts, smart helmets, and all that. So reducing the size of the hardware to enable the creation of computers that could be physically moved around relatively easily. So that is what portability means. So we obviously need the IoT devices to be much more portable, and obviously miniaturization. So you can see how the chips and the ICs, even the processors, which were 50 into 50 millimeter, they are now getting down, miniaturized to 15 millimeter into 15 millimeter. So this will be an enabler. Something more, low power and low heat, low power architectures, low power radios, sleep modes, and then energy harvesting. Connectivity, we obviously need Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, 4G Lite, now 5G, and other things. So convergence, like all your digital mobile devices like PDAs, mobile phones, music players, cameras, cars, everything, they need to be converged into hybrid. Divergence. So along with convergence, if the opposite approach to interaction the design by promoting information appliances with specialized functionality rather than generalized ones, these are like if you have some interaction and you need to be promoting those kind of appliances, but you say, suppose you go to a doctor to do an X-ray. The technician you will see there, they might have this kind of a device where they will only ask you to stand in front of the X-ray machine, and they will have a portable device where they can take the picture. So it will be very specialized functionality. And then the ecosystems, we already discussed on some of the digital ecosystems, and it should be very much pervasive and interrelated. Portability, smartphones should be portable, miniaturized, connectivity, convergence, digital economy, digital ecosystem. And we have some issues and challenges with IoT. The first most issue is taking control. Say control, the whole thing is smart. So you don't want someone else to take control of your devices. Say control for your smart door locks and lighting system. They can be very vulnerable. There might be some malware infested. Refrigerators have sent spam. Door locks have been unlocked remotely. Infotainment systems offers multiple ways into a car's electronics. Pacemakers can be attacked remotely. You don't want that, because pacemakers, if you want to make them smart, they cannot be attacked or taken up by a hacker. And then personal fitness devices that a hacker can tell you exactly, track you where you are. So you don't want this kind of things. Even in case of medical things like high capacity insulin pumps, those are very vulnerable. There is one more commercial. So see, reaction to this commercial. One perspective, you will say that it is about security cameras. They were so cool. We would see so much of things. And another perspective would be, it is full of hidden security camera moments. So you don't want, like, your privacy is being infringed, right? So we'll move on to the next part, the components of an IoT device. And we have already talked about the sensor actuators, the controllers, communicators, and the thing. And any sort of device which includes a programmable computer but itself is not intended to be a general purpose computer. That was proposed by Wayne Wolf. So here we have a CDL, or a wireless communication, and microcontroller with inbuilt RAM, that is having RAM and ROM as well as EPROM. And you have the inputs, that is the keypad, the sensors and the switches, and the outputs would be display, the solenoid or the motors or whatever you want to work on. So in automotive embedded systems, you have this adaptive cruise control systems. They are being detected if cars in front of you are just too close, and if necessary, it will adjust the vehicle's throttle. It may also apply brakes or sound an alarm. So most of the cars now are having cruise control, and some of proposing along with IoT, they will be having adaptive cruise control. Then airbags also is a mandatory aspect done by the Department of Roadways by the government of India. And now advanced airbag systems, they will have crash severity sensors that determine the appropriate level to inflate the airbag, reducing the chance of airbag injury in low speed accidents. So if there is someone, you are going at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour, and suddenly some vehicle comes in front of you and stops. So you don't want the airbag to inflate very quickly and rapidly and cause you an injury. You might have a spinal injury or something. So this kind of things can be regulated and automated using IoT. Obviously, tire pressure monitoring systems. Now, most of the advanced vehicles, cars you are buying, they are having this kind of sensors, and they are telling you whether how much is the pressure in your car tire and whether you need more air. So they will give you signals and warnings. Drive-by-wire systems, they sense pressure on the gas pedals and communicate electronically to the engine how much and how fast to accelerate. And cars are equipped with obviously the Garmin and other wireless communication capabilities, all the GPS. They are called the telematics, and they include navigation systems, remote diagnosis and alerts, and internet access. So today's high-end automobile may have 100 plus of microprocessors everywhere in seat belts, dashboards, engine control, ABS, automatic stability control, and a lot. And in embedded processor market, they are having 80 million PCs every year, 3 billion embedded CPUs every year, and embedded systems are gradually growing, while the PC market is almost saturated. The general purpose processor, the programmable device microprocessor, as you can see, the features will be program memory and general data path with large register file and general arithmetic logical unit, ALU. And so you have the controller here, which controls the control logic and state register, and you have the program counter, IR, and then the data path, register file, general ALU, and data memory, and then the program memory. So this is a very basic form of microprocessor. And examples of getting now most of you are using Intel Core i7 or AMD Ryzen 5. So most of these are advanced processors and digital circuit designed specifically. 1 second. Hello. এই একটা লেকচার নিচ্ছি নিয়ে আস হ্যাঁ 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 digital circuit designed specifically for one purpose, and features they will be because it's a dedicated processor, this will contain only the components needed to execute a single program, so no program memory will be there. The benefits will be obviously it will be fast because they are very specific. It's a dedicated processor, it will have low power, and it will be of small size. Then the ASIC, that is application specific processor, programmable processor optimized for a particular class of applications that have common characteristics. Features will be program memory, optimized data path, and specialized functional units. Benefits would be some flexibility, good performance, size and power reusability. Characteristics of the embedded systems, they will be dedicated functionality, real-time operation, small size and low weight, low power, harsh environments, safety critical operation, and cost sensitive. So embedded versus real-time, mostly they are overlapping. So some examples, real-time embedded, nuclear reactor control you have in the nuclear reactors, the flight control you see in the aeroplanes, basically any safety critical system, the GPS, the MP3 player, mobile phones, real-time but not embedded, that is the stock trading system, Skype, Pandora, Netflix, like that. Embedded but not real-time, that will be the home temperature control, sprinkler system, that is you have in the gardens, washing machine, refrigerator, all this kind of things. The characteristics of this real-time systems, this will be event-driven versus the time-driven. It will be very reactive, reliability, fault tolerance requirements, predictability, priorities in multi-program systems. So there will be systems where we need it to be on real time. Some hard real time, soft real time, and firm real time. We don't. We'll skip this. So basically, you have this control systems, and we have the operators, and with the operators we have the real time computer system and we have the controlled object. The man-machine interface you have between the operator and the real-time computer system, and the instrumentation interface is between the real-time computer system and the controlled object. So man-machine interface, you have the input devices like keyboards and output devices that will be like the display. Instrumentation device interface would be the sensors and the actuators that actually transform these physical signals into digital data. And most control systems are hard real-time, and deadlines are determined by the controlled object, that is the temporal behavior of the physical phenomenon, like fuel injections versus the ATM. So if you consider of the ATMs, you have something where it is controlled, like you cannot just put on any card and give any key, any pin, and you cannot transact. So those are obviously very much controlled. So this is an example of a control system, a simple one sensor, one actuator control system. So you see that there's a reference input RT, analog to digital conversion. You have the control law computation, and again back to digital to analog. And then you have the actuator, the plant, where also the outside effects that system is being controlled, and the sensor, and those are again going back to the AD devices. Pseudocode for this system, set timer to interrupt periodically with period T. So you're setting up a timer to interrupt at a period of T. At each timer interrupt, what you need to do is analog to digital conversion to get Y, and then you are computing the control output U and output U and do the digital to analog conversion, and then end this loop. So this is basically the pseudocode for running a control system. And T, as you can see, is the sampling period. So T is a key design choice, and typical range for T will be seconds, or it can be up to milliseconds. Sensors, they are mainly the input components. They sense and collect surrounding information. Actuators, they are mainly output components. They alter the surrounding. Connect devices with each other, so and the cloud. So that is the main part of communications. In communication type, it might be wireline, that is the copper wires, the optical fibers, or it can be the wireless, the radio frequency RF based, or it can be IR infrared based. So popular RF devices, IEEE 802.15.4 or 802.11, that is the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth or NFC or near field communication like the RFID. So now we will move on to IOMT. As we have discussed on IoT, you have a better understanding of how the IoT is having several impact, and how many applications is there, and there are so many open problems for your research. I understand most of you are young researchers, either doing PhD or you have already completed your PhD and you're moving for research. So IoT, industrial IoT, Internet of Medical Things, this kind of areas are very much in niche areas now. And as you know, how is IOMT impacting the healthcare? IOMT impacts the healthcare in many ways. This changes can be mostly notable when you are deploying IOMT in home or on body, or it might be in the community or in the hospital. So hospitals, in hospital IOMT, hospitals must manage the quality and supply. It should ensure the supply of their medical assets over time. And they also need to understand how personnel and patients are moving throughout the premises. and healthcare professionals, they use IOMT sensors and other tracking systems to track all of these interactions so that the administrators can get a comprehensive understanding of what is going on, right? And in the in-home IOMT, they allow people to transmit the medical data from their home to other locations, such as their primary care provider or a hospital. For instance, there might be a remote patient monitoring, or which may be used for medical devices, for the use of medical devices to transmit metrics like the blood pressure or oxygen saturation from recently discharged patients to their hospitals for review by their doctors. And this can reduce hospital readmissions by catching issues before they become serious, right? And now, these days, you are seeing almost everyone is having viral conjunctivitis, or they are having adeno, they are having fever. Most of the children, even the adults, they're catching up. So this kind of things can be mitigated. Also telehealth. When you are having a viral conjunctivitis, I think it is better that you take leave, you be at home, you be in a remote in a room, so that your family members don't catch the viral conjunctivitis or the viral adeno fever. So you might take the use of telehealth, right? So basically, what is telehealth? Telehealth will be like using of communication technologies for remote healthcare services. It will provide further flexibility by allowing recent discharged patients to remove the minor issues by remotely connecting with their doctors. So use of IOMT devices along with telehealth can also be very useful for ongoing the care outside of the patient setting. For example, say personal emergency response system, which we call as PERS. They can track events such as if the patients have a fall or a heart attack, and it will automatically call for help. So this personal emergency response systems, or PERS, they can provide security to at-risk people, such as seniors. Like we have senior citizens at home. We have our parents, we have our so many seniors at home that they want to live at home, but we cannot compromise their safety. They cannot have a fall or a heart attack, and we cannot monitor. So using this kind of IOMT, in-home IOMT, we can mitigate this kind of things. And there might be also on-body IOMT. What is on-body IOMT? It is the use of wearable medical devices. As you can see, I'm having a smart watch with me. This not only monitors my heart rate, it also tells me when to. It also it has a GPS connection. So with the satellite, it catches wherever, it tracks me wherever I go. It also tracks how much movement I am doing, how much calorie I am burning, and how much sleep I am doing. So all this kind of things. So this kind of wearable medical devices that are connected to remote tracking or monitoring systems. So like in home IOMT, in this kind of on-body IOMT, this can be used outside the home as people live their normal lives, right? So this is the basic difference between in-home IOMT and on-body IOMT. Consumer on-body IOMT devices are something which is also available. They are also wearable devices, and that anyone can buy to track the health metrics for both personal use as well as sharing with the healthcare providers. So in addition to tracking a standard metric such as a heart rate, these devices can be can also give out early warning signs for more serious health conditions. For example, if you have an Apple Watch, they can warn users about irregular heart rhythms, right? So you are having a warning of irregular heart rhythms. So once you're having that irregular heart rhythms, you are getting a warning, you are going to a cardiologist. So to do a ECG and TMT and all these kind of things. So they will, track you and tell you whether this irregular heart rhythms are okay or you need further treatment. Then there might be also clinical on-body IOMT devices. They are also consumer devices, but they afford a wider array of sensor options. Like you can have glucose sensors, They are won by diabetic patients. They give out alerts. So you know that there might be some fluctuations in the glucose levels, so they get those alerts. So many of these devices, they can share data directly with the patient's doctor to ensure that the patient gets a fast and accurate treatment. Then there is also a community IOMT. So community IOMT is the use of these IOMT devices through a broader town or a geographic area. For example, mobility services are devices used to track patients while in transit in a vehicle, right? We have already discussed this. Similarly, emergency response intelligence systems are used by paramedics and first responders to track patient metrics outside of the hospital setting. So in addition to this mobile and emergency care, community IOMT also involves technologies that enable remote services. For example, point of care devices can be used by healthcare providers in non-traditional medical settings, such as field hospital or kiosk. Because we all went through this COVID phase for 2 years, right? And there were kiosks where we could do a COVID test for that. And this can actually be used to dispense medicines to people in areas with limited or no access to traditional infrastructure, especially in our rural areas. As you know, almost 70% of our country is rural areas, right? And suppliers may also use these IOMT devices in logistics to help in transport of the healthcare goods or medical equipment. For instance, like sensors can monitor temperature or pressure sensitive shipping containers to ensure that quality is maintained throughout the shipping process. Like you give vaccines to your children, right? So these vaccines need to be in optimum temperature. So they cannot be in normal temperature. So this kind of things can be maintained. But as we discussed, everything comes with challenges. IOMT comes with some unique legal, regulatory, as well as technical and privacy challenges, mainly because IOMT system has so many stakeholders. So medical device providers, connectivity providers, OEMs, system software providers, system integrators, end users, they all are the stakeholders. So there might be legal challenges, regulatory challenges. Legal challenges is like when, say, IOMT device, they are generating and sharing data. It is not always clear who legally owns that data, right? For example, if a city-owned medical device captures data from a patient, stores the data in a third-party cloud application, and then shares the data with a private health organization, then who owns the data? Is it the city, the municipality, the patient, or the software provider? Or is it the healthcare organization? Whether it is the Apollo, or whether it's the KMC, or whether it is the patient itself. So there are many ways that the different parties can use and share the data. The owner may have the right to destroy the data, which can be complicated in a distributed network where data is potentially replicated many times. So once you have the data, it is replicated in the distributed network. So that might be a challenge. Then there might be also regulatory challenges. Due to the sensitivity of the medical data, there is a significant regulation about how and where it can be used, along with specifications about how the technology should be secure. For instance, our regulatory body of Government of India, they have released comprehensive guidelines about the management of cybersecurity in medical devices. And it is done by FDA. FDA is the US counterpart, the European Union, the UK. They have different associations. They do this kind of regulatory challenges. Then also is the technical challenges. We are more interested about the technical challenges because given the distributed nature of the IOMT infrastructure, the devices and software systems must be able to communicate securely with each other. However, these protocols and security standards for these types of integrations change constantly. This can cause the compatibility issues as new technologies are introduced if older systems cannot keep up to date with these changes. So there will be a gap. Then obviously we have the privacy and security challenges. IOMT data typically flows through the public internet, and it is exposed to more security threats than are present in a firewall private network. This threat is compounded by the fact that data is shared among many systems, providing multiple attack vectors. So this kind of things might happen. Even the OEMs, they must use the industry best practices around security, and administrators should use the latest encryption protocols using unique and complex passwords for access and validating the SSL certificates of remote systems. So how do we secure these IOMT devices? There are many variables at play in IOMT security, and there is no simple way to secure all medical devices against all types of threats. However, basic first step is to ensure that you know which medical devices exist on your network and the types of threats that may impact them. So this kind of issues are there in IOMT, and IOMT is now basically a buzzword. What we are getting because IOMT is having tremendous benefits. So I will discuss some of my research. We'll go back to the slides, and so already we are aware of how we migrated from IoT to IOMT. So in healthcare sensor devices, we are collecting the data and transmitting patient data over time to monitor the patient conditions. And it is offering various real-time solutions through the integration of data analytics received from the sensors. And why we are going for IOMT? To improve the patient's engagement, to improve the decision making based on patient's data, and also identifying the patient needs. IOMT is actually catching up with the technology trends. In the last few years, the recent technologies combined with IOMT is to provide real-time and accurate service, artificial intelligence, big data, virtual reality. These are augmenting in the technology support for IOMT. Some statistical source where IOMT market is value is projected to reach $190 billion by 2025. That's like 3 times as much as it was in 2017. And nearly 60% of all the global healthcare organizations have already implemented the Internet of Things in one way or another. It's assumed that the other are already adopting this kind of technology. So we have this healthcare IOMT adoption trends and influential factors. Healthcare organizations worldwide are already trying to implement IOMT. And this is a data source of the market landscape. So how from 2015 and 20 onwards, we are seeing how the IOMT landscape market is growing. So the major components of IOMT system, they will be like the IoT, they will be having the sensor and devices, that is the patients, the connectivity, the data processing, and the user interface. So we have the patient and the physician, and they are being connected by this network using a communication network. The network is used for wireless or wired transfer of data, and you have the data analytics as well as the storage devices. The patient might have a image digitizer. It includes a main or auxiliary or a document camera or a scanner. It can also have measurement devices. It includes ECG, blood pressure measurement, and oxygen monitoring. User display displays data to mobile or computer screens. And modem, it is converting all the digital data into the electrical or the analog data. Physician will have a display used for remotely intervention and monitoring. It will have a modem. It will receive real-time data from the network. And the physician camera, it includes main, auxiliary, and document camera. So we have the impact of IoT. We have a remote patient monitoring, timely sample or a report delivery to the physician, uh, and the real-time data analysis and diagnosis. So we have the patient specific care with context and enabled through past health records. Obviously, doctor has the history, physician has the history of the patient. Development of evidence-based guidelines, which can be helpful to incorporate the local intelligence in future machines. It will be improving the inter-device connection and synchronization, and data-driven health prediction, as well as the real-time tracking and intervention. So IOMT, as we discussed a while ago, can be applied to individual health monitoring as well as the group health monitoring. In individual monitoring, we have the pulse oximeter. It will be a nanosensor just inside our skin, right? Then the blood pressure, or it might be also a nanosensor. The ECG nanosensor, it will be monitoring your all the diastolic, systolic, as well as all your heart chambers, whatever the injection rate is. So it will be monitoring everything. Then you have a handheld gateway which is connected to the internet, and it is again connected via to the healthcare provider. So Internet of Medical Things model for individual monitoring. It can also be a group-based monitoring. Like very recently, due to COVID, you remember when we were not aware, like what is COVID and how this COVID-19 virus is impacting. We had people having COVID; they were transferred to a facility, right? So we can use kind of group-based monitoring there. Using group-based monitoring for similar kind of patients, it can be again done via internet, and that location, that safe house can be connected again to the hospital through the internet, and group-based monitoring can be done. Talking about the challenges and issues, technical challenges and issues, energy efficiency of IoT devices, the security of IoT data, hacking and unauthorized use of IoT. These are all research problems. Lack of standards and communication protocols, which we are having for IOMT, errors in patient data handling. These are something manual which cannot be done. Data integration, need for medical expertise, human resource, managing device diversity and interoperability, as well as scaling or the data volume and the performance. So this kind of challenges and issues we are facing. These were the technical challenges. Now we go to the market challenges and issues. So there is the implementation cost. That is a huge issue. Physician compliance, whether it is complying our MCI or the Medical Council of India standards. Data overload on healthcare facility, that is a huge issue when you have a group monitoring and there is a huge influx. Like if you go to any government hospitals, RG NRS Medical College, National, you will find there is a huge influx of patients. Thousands and thousands of patients are coming. And for this, there might be overload on the healthcare facility, right? Mobile hesitation, security policy compliance, we have already talked about this. So we'll discuss a case study. My research scholars have done several works in this IOMT field. So I'll take up just one case study and I'll discuss how we have worked on that. So the objective of this work is to provide energy efficient and secure IOMT network for healthcare monitoring. So this energy model, what we have done, we have this k-bit of packets, and we have the transmit electronics, the transmitter amplifier is there, and we are receiving receiving it through the receiving electronics, and we get back the k-bit packet. And the total energy consumption for transmitting the I-bit data packet over a distance is given by this following equation. And what we do is we have proposed a very basic creel herd optimization based on the this selection, LN selection. So first, here in this flowchart, what we did is we initialize the creel parameters. Creel, as you know, creel herd, it's a genetic algorithm. So we initialize the creel population, and if it is stopped, then we end it. If not, then we actually go for the motion calculation, that is the induced motion or the foraging motion or the physical diffusion. We update the creel positions, we do the crossover and mutation and replacement, and it is getting back. So this was our proposed creel herd optimization. And for this selection parameters, what we have done is residual energy of sensor nodes. We have proposed, it is given by the equation, and the number of neighbor nodes we have given F2 equal to NU, where average distance among the nodes we have proposed, how we have proposed from the earlier, and by combining the above three factors, we have proposed the objective function by giving F equal to W1 F1 plus W2 F2 plus W3 F3, where W1, W2, W3 are weight factors, that is W1 plus W2 plus W3 equal to 1, and the weights will be between 0 and 1. So we have proposed this selection parameters. Then what we have done, we have decentralized the leader node selection. We have a set of neighbors of nodes and the energy level of nodes, and we begin broadcast. Then we receive the set of neighbors as well as the energy levels from all neighbors, and we calculate the F1 using the equation. And so for all this, what we try is we are trying to decentralize the leader node selection. So once we are decentralizing using this algorithm, what we do is we have proposed a very basic algorithm, like a cipher block CBC, like a cipher blockchaining based encryption algorithm. So you might ask why we have used such a very basic algorithm, encryption algorithm. See, IoMT devices, as I showed you, you are having it under the skin, right? You are having some nano sensors under the skin. You don't want them to be heavy with some heavy algorithms which will cost more space and more resources and more complexity. Some basic, even cipher blockchaining CBC encryption algorithm will do the work. So this encryption algorithm inputs are the data block and the initial vectors, and basically it is returning the cipher block using this encryption technique. So again, it is having a decryption algorithm where the cipher block is there as the input and the initial vectors are there, and you are getting back the getting back the data block using this basic cipher block algorithm. And evaluation metrics, this network, obviously network throughput, that is evaluation metric to be considered, end-to-end delay, as well as the network lifetime. And simulation parameters, we had given the node deployment, simulation area, initial energy of node, packet size, the antenna type, and the energies. So we have all considered in picojoules. So we have done some analysis and found out that our proposed method was compared with two existing very industry standards, say CAR and EERP, and it was found that the number of rounds, number of alive nodes, that was holding for a longer than the other methods, as you can see. So the network lifetime is much higher for our proposed method. And end-to-end delay also, we got our end-to-end delay that was less than the other two proposed methods. End-to-end delay versus the rounds, that was also less than the other two methods. Network throughput, even our proposed network throughput was much higher than in kbps than the other proposed methods. Network throughput versus the rounds, that also we have plotted. So basically in this work, in our case study which we have done, it was published in a journal. We have shown that the proposed algorithm can be designed to elongate the network lifetime with two approaches. By using the Prill-Herd optimization technique, it enhanced the IOMT network lifetime compared to the existing state of art. It also outperforms for the other important metrics. And for the high scalability, centralized algorithm may not be feasible. In that case, our decentralized algorithm perform much better for all the metrics. And with the help of a lightweight CBC security algorithm, provide a secure data transmission. In future, the received sensor data from patients for various parameters may be considered for future further analysis and disease prediction using machine learning techniques to build a IOMT healthcare framework. Some references which we have used. Okay, this case study, this was published in Microsystem Technologies. It's a SCI journal, impact factor 2.276. Some of our related IOMT work, we have published work on smart city air quality for mobile crowd sensing. We have done some video encryption technique also. So most of the work are with my scholars and collaborators. We have published also some malware detection in a NASA journal, efficient, energy efficient and secure healthcare in Internet of Things. So these are very, for the past 2 years, we have been working. So this was our work which was published in international journals of SCI, or most of them are SCI. So thank you. Any questions if you have, or I'll give it to the organizers.
Dear participants, if you have any question, you are free to unmute yourself and ask them.
So after this, there will be a small test. It's a MCQ. I have already given 5 MCQs. So the organizers will get in touch with you because it's a FDP, Faculty Development Program. And one thing I want to say about IOMT in IoT, or if you work on IOMT, it's a very emerging area, and there are a lot of things to work on. I've discussed some of the research problems where you can work on. Also, I've gone through one of the case studies which we have worked on. And I will also, the organizers will share my, I think my email ID was in the beginning of the slide, but again, I can share. So you can also get in touch with me if you want to do some collaborative.
Sir, it will be very helpful for our participant if you can please put your email ID to the chat box.
Sure, I'll do that. Yes, I've done it.
Okay, if the participants have any queries, they may ask. Assuming that the participants have no queries, so thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and patience. And I'm so sure the participants will be benefited from this course. Thank you so much.
Yes, even if you are shy now, you can contact me for any further research in this kind of areas. So I work on machine learning as well as deep learning, as well as IoT, Internet of Things. So I have scholars who are doing quite good. They have published a lot of work, and they're working in the lab. So you are welcome to join us for any collaborative work. Yeah.